Good evening. Thanks for tuning in to KPC News. I'm Hannah Thurman.
And I'm Karsan Turner. Tonight we will discuss a new different joint resolution and a new bill that is creating discourse among lawmakers. But first, we have our big story for tonight. President Donald Trump will meet with North Korea's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un today and Thursday for their second summit to further discuss deals on denuclearization. Fortune reported the two will meet in Hanoi, Vietnam. BBC says this location was chosen because of the diplomatic relations Vietnam has with both the United States and North Korea. The location could be used as an example of two countries working together and setting aside their personal grievances. Ed Henry, a Fox News correspondent who is in Vietnam, said on Tucker Carlson tonight that he and Vietnamese citizens are optimistic about the meeting, saying to them it's another step closer to peace amongst the nations. We'll have an update on the summit on Friday's podcast.
Today, the House passed a bill to expand gun restrictions. The Bipartisan Background Checks Act of 2019 passed the House by 50 votes. It furthers federal background checks for gun purchases and transfers. This is the first time a bill backing gun control has passed through the House since the 1990s. However, the bill was first laid out after the Sandy Hook shooting in 2012. The Senate will most likely not take a vote on the bill since the Senate has a Republican majority. Trump already says that he will veto the bill if it passes.
A former ISIS member is suing the United States federal government over citizenship after trying to return back to the United States. Breitbart reports Hoda Muthana left the U.S. for Syria in 2014, where she married an ISIS jihadi who was killed in battle. According to Washington Post, Muthana has never been a U.S. citizen. Her father was a Yemeni diplomat under his home country when his daughter was born, which would be one of the few exceptions to birthright citizenship. However, documents provided by Muthana's lawyers show her father may have been discharged from his diplomatic position before his daughter was born, qualifying her as a citizen. The lawsuit is persisting. However, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said on Fox News that Muthana is a non-citizen terrorist. She has no legal basis for a claim of U.S. citizenship. As of last night, the lawsuit has been expedited and a date has been set for Monday, March 4th.
Republicans have their eyes on a different joint resolution. Yesterday, they introduced a resolution to declare the nation's debt a national security threat. The debt ceiling deadline is next week. The debt is now over $22 trillion as of this month. This bill currently has 37 co-sponsors. The Treasury Department can use available money to fund the government through the summer, which would let Congress to avoid the so-called debt fight.
A recent bill introduced on Monday is raising controversy among Democrats and Republicans. The Born Alive bill introduced policies that would protect abortion survivors and threaten prison time for doctors refusing to save abortion survivors. Washington Post reports all but 3 Democrats voted against the bill, with the final vote being 53-44. Those opposed argued that this was an unjustified attack on abortion rights and prevents doctors from exercising their best moral judgment. Under current law, it is illegal to kill or harm an infant. This comes weeks after Virginia Governor Ralph Northam fell under fire after going on WTOP's radio show, saying that a baby after its birth would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and family desired. Abortion survivor Melissa Ohden was interviewed on Fox and Friends, saying that she was disappointed but not surprised by the bill's block. So far, none of the Democratic senators running for president, that's Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren, have not commented on their vote against the Born Alive bill.
A federal judge ruled on Friday that it is unconstitutional to require only men, not women, to register for the draft. This decision does not require the government to revise the registration requirement. So what happens now? Women were not allowed to serve in most ground combat roles until 2015, when Obama removed that policy. The judge said the government can no longer justify the male-only draft system because of gender-based discrimination. Government lawyers asked the judge to defer to Congress on military affairs and to wait until the National Commission decides if Congress should revise the draft registration policy in place. A similar case is going through the federal court in New Jersey as well.
Black Klansman director Spike Lee feuded with President Trump during the 91st Academy Awards show on Sunday. While accepting his award for Best Screen Adaptation, Lee's speech ended with a call to action for the 2020 election, saying that the audience needs to mobilize, be on the right side of history, and make the moral choice between love versus hate. During the film's opening weekend, the Oscar award-winning director said that he hopes that Black Klansman sinks Trump in 2020. President Trump responded to the director's speech on Twitter, calling the speech a racist hit on your president. Spike Lee told Entertainment Weekly that this was yet another example of the Trump administration criticizing African Americans while framing their acts as anti-American.
One campaign staffer from the 2016 election is suing President Trump. Alva Johnson says that Trump kissed her without her consent and that she was paid less for work because of her gender and race. Johnson says in the lawsuit that in a short conversation with Trump, he praised her efforts. While doing so, he grabbed her hand and leaned in to kiss her. Johnson attempted to avoid the advance by turning her head, but Trump allegedly managed to kiss the side of her mouth. The lawsuit claims that there are several witnesses. One of the alleged witnesses, previous Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, told CNN that the allegations are false. Johnson sought out legal help right after the incident, but the lawyer did not take the case at the time. Johnson quit a week after the Access Hollywood tapes of Trump were released to the public in 2016.
That's all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Karsan Turner.
And I'm Hannah Thurman. We'll see you next week.